and welcome back to Libib's booktube channel. My name is Kaelyn. Don't forget to grab your mug of coffee for Coffee with Kaelyn now, and we're about to dive into our March pick, which is Lullabies by Libib. I'm gonna take a good old sip here, and then we're gonna be full speed ahead into reviewing my thoughts, feels, and opinions. I love iced coffee. It can literally cure anything. So, the first book for Coffee with Kaelyn, the monthly poetry book club that I'm hosting, the first book ever is Lullabies by Libib, which I picked this up because I am the biggest Libib fan right now. I just have fallen in love and devoured everything that she writes. I wanted to be reading one of my favorite authors, and I wanted to share that with you guys. And so today I'm going to talk about all my favorite poems and what my thoughts, feels, and opinions were with this book. And to kick things off, I'm going to talk about what I ended up rating this book, and I ended up rating this book 4 out of 5 stars. I know, not a 4.5 or a 5-star. Gasp. But it's still one of my favorite Libib books. So the book description on Goodreads is, a sequel to the hugely popular best-selling Love and Misadventures, Lullabies continues to explore the intricacies of love and loss. Set to a musical theme, Love's poetic journey in this new original collection begins with a duet and travels throughout an interlude and a finale with an encore. Popular piece from the best-selling Love and Misadventure Libib's advocated poetry speaks to the soul of anyone who is on this journey. Libib has an unnerving ability to see inside the hearts and minds of her readers. Her talent for translating complex emotions with astonishing simplicity has won her a cult following and devoted fans from all over the world. Libib is a poet and internationally exhibiting artist. I felt like Love and Misadventure was great. There was a lot more happiness to this, but I just felt like this took a darker tone with loss and breakups and all that jazz, and I felt like there wasn't a lot of happiness in this book. I definitely loved the first half of the book. If you can tell right here, I definitely loved the first half. The middle was very short. The second part was very short, and then the finale, the end, was big and huge. So a couple of my favorite poems, I think the poem on page 3 kicked it off to a great start. It's titled Her Words. Love a girl who writes and lives her many lives. You have yet to find her beneath the words of guys. Kiss her blue ink fingers, forgive the pens they marked, the stain of your lips upon her, the one she can't discard. Forget her tattered memories or the pages others took. You are her ever after, the hero of her book. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. I like it. So that was like the first little kick that I really liked had going into this. Then I got into No Other, and then I was like, oh gosh, this is sad. The next page, Sad Things, again, it's like, why do you write sad things, he asked, when I am here, when I love you? And then I was like, because someday in one way or another you will be taken from me, or I you. It is inevitable, but please understand, from the moment I met you, I stopped writing for the past. I no longer write for the present. When I write sad things, I am writing for the future. And I was like, oh, that's so sad, because it makes me think of like, one day, like when you find your soulmate and you get to be with them forever, and then like one day they die. Oh my goodness, I don't want to think about that because that's super sad, but like one day they won't be there and nothing is ever certain in life. And then I was like, oh gosh, I sad. Did not cry in this book, thank goodness. And then another favorite poem of mine was A Phone Call. We said hello at 1:30. All of our chords for the morning done, and as we spoke about our day, the world began to fall away. To our highest hope and our deepest fears, if I had one wish, I'd wish you here. The tantrums and the horror shows, the stories only you would know. All the while with the ticking clock, laughing as if we'd never stop. We said goodnight at 10:30. At midnight, we said goodnight again. It makes me think of staying up all night to that special someone, and you're just talking to them and you never want to let go. Or if you're just talking to them for a brief time and then you hang up and you're like, oh, it's an hour and a half later. Like, what the heck? I think my favorite poem would have to be page 73, and it's Nostalgia. It's, do you remember our first day? The fog lifted and all around us were trees linking hands like children playing. Our first night when you stood by the door, conflicted as I sat there with my knees tucked under my chin and smiling. Then rainbows arching over in the most beautiful sunsets I have ever seen. How the wind howls and the sea whispers, I miss you. Come back to me. And just the title, Nostalgia, and then Do you remember our first day, just led me into this warm, happy, fuzzy feeling, and then it made me go on to write my own little nostalgia. And it's just like, do you remember the snow lightly falling as we walked to sit down for dinner? How we laughed and had drinks and the best dinner ever? It was the perfect day. The atmosphere, food, and vibe could not be any more perfect, just like you. And obviously I'm gonna go on and continue this poem in my own time, but I thought this was just really good inspiration to kick off that little thing that I needed to do since I'm trying to write more now. Other than that, it just kind of, nothing really happened in the middle part. There was a part that I noticed because chapter 3 finale, this is like the last half of the book, so this is the first half. So this is the first 2 parts of the book, which was just really weird. I wish there was a bigger middle section instead of such a huge finale. But then it also made me think of finales are meant to be big. They're meant to be this awesome, gigantic ending. At least that's how I think about it if I'm thinking of terms in music. When I was in band, the finales was the greatest thing ever. During the last part, there were a lot of, not necessarily poetry, but more of like prose in this book, which I think some of those were like my favorite pieces because I got more of Langleaf's writing and it wasn't so much poetry anymore. It was like this prosy type stuff and it was longer and it gave me more of like a story and like an arc, and I love that. I love that about this book with all the prose in it. So I was just super excited to finally have more Langleaf. And then the rest of the book, there just wasn't that many poems that, not necessarily that I thought weren't good. It was just kind of sad and just kind of meh, and I was like, Another favorite poem of mine, which is on 143, A Cautionary Tale, it's titled. There is a girl who never returns her library books. Don't give her your heart. It is unlikely you will ever see it again. Because like, I like to collect a lot of books and I will collect your heart too. So the reason why I rated it 4 out of 5 stars is that the first half definitely had more of my favorite poems and poetry, and it definitely made me think more and made me want to write more. The second half was just all right. It was more of like a 3 out of 5 star to me, and that's how I kind of settled in on a 4 out of 5 star. Like, it was still really good. I still really loved and enjoyed it. The finale part was just all right. It was just there. I definitely cannot wait to continue on reading more Langleaf books because they're just so awesome and amazing. But I'm finally glad that I got to read one of my highly anticipated books for this book club and for the month of March. Anyways, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below if you really liked this type of video. Let me know. Also, don't forget about April's pick, which is Shout by Lori Halse Anderson. Don't forget to grab this. I will leave a link in the description box below where you can go pick it up. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next month for a new Coffee with Kaelyn video and discussion video and everything that is poetry book clubness.